Hey guys, Ryan Dossey here, and in today's video, I want to walk you through a really neat feature that allows you to find super unique properties that nobody else has. This is probably the only AI list that I think is actually cool in the real estate space and not just a gimmick. Let's dive right in. Before I show you what it is, I want to give you some example use cases. So I worked with a client once in Austin that was particularly looking to develop ADUs. They needed to find properties that were on alleys or on corner lots where they could build a secondary property in the backyard. There's not an easy way to pull that through like PropStream or DealMachine or ListSource until now. What we had to do back then was pull a list of lots a certain size, then pay a VA to go Google satellite image view all of those and tag yes on an alley or not across thousands of records. Now you can literally do that in DealMachine. You can also do things like, hey, I just bought 123 Main Street. Go look at this property and find me things that are similar. So how this technology works, it uses Google Street View and Google satellite imaging plus like 200 other data points on those properties. When was it built? Who owned it? What did they pay for it? How long did they sit on it for, right? Effectively to build a list that nobody else has. Now, I do want to point out you do pay per record that you ask the system to analyze. So for instance, if I had a list of 10,000 records, I have to pay 2 cents per record that it looks at, regardless of how many match. Now, the reason you have to pay per record, like AI is expensive. If you've not looked into that, it consumes all kinds of energy and power. I don't think DealMachine built their own. I think they're leveraging something else. So they're paying for all of those calls as well. But it is a really neat tool. And I'm going to show you guys in my computer a practical example of it. I've said this on other videos. They just rolled out their LLC skip tracing, their dialer. Like, we're very much fans of DealMachine. I personally pay for the tool and utilize it to generate profits in my own business. There where we get all of our senior data from. I'm using it. I'm paying for it. It's generating a profit for me. So I think you should check it out. So let's look at this. So here we are inside DealMachine's dashboard, and I'm going to build out just kind of a quick criteria. So I bought a single family house in the 46218 zip code. I'm going to click on down here. We want to kind of narrow the data as much as we can because we do pay per record. So I want to do, they have equity greater than 35%. And the owner is also absentee. Mine was an absentee owned property. And then I'm also going to cap it to the owner type. Let's see here. Corporate owned, no. Click confirm. And I also want to cap the number of properties that that person owns. The way I'm removing, the guy that owns 10 houses or something. So I typically do fewer than 3. This is a very common list that I do. Absentee owners with equity who have 3 properties or less. Here's how the AI component comes in. So we've got this down here. What are you looking for? This is where we can ask it things like, find me properties that are on an alley or on a corner lot, right? Like things that we typically couldn't build. But you can also ask it to find properties that match something you've already done. So I'm going to click this attach example button. I've got a property right now under contract to sell. Going to punch that in. We're showing you this in real time. It's not instant. So my only real gripe with DealMachine, other than like the user interface takes a little bit of getting used to, it's a little bit like and or type logic or greater than, less than type stuff. It can be a little slow on the exports. So I'm not expecting the AI to be like, hey, it's done instantly. I'm expecting this is going to kind of buffer some. One fair point that I would throw out, because this is going to obviously be based also on your internet speed, not just their website. I'm on Starlink. I live in a pretty rural area. I'm also screen recording and recording audio at the same time. So I'm asking my computer and my internet to do a lot. And behind me, my videographer is also editing and uploading and working on things too. So it might be snappier for you than what we're showing here. All right, it popped up. Woo! right, so we've got it matched here. It says it's going to cost me $15. Honestly, I want the data, so I'm going to pay for it, but you guys are worth $15 to me, so I do that anyway. Click the old starting AI and let it process. The tool is literally looking at Google Street View and Google satellite imaging, plus a whole bunch of other data points. One thing that I think is worth mentioning, DealMachine has this condition data where like it'll give you properties that look like they're in bad shape based off of the Google like Street View. In markets where Google Street View has been updated, it's ninja. If your Google Street View is 3 or 4 years old, it's useless. It finds stuff that used to be bad that's now been flipped. Pretty cool. It kind of is popping them up in real time as it's finding ones that match. That's visually appealing or exciting, I guess. Or maybe it's telling me these ones don't match. Okay, that one did match. Looks like there's a little score. So both properties are single family homes built in 1950 or the same square foot, not vacant, absentee owned. Similar properties, corporate owned. Okay, I might be hurting myself a little bit here in that it's looking at what it currently matches. And currently it's a corporate owned property that I have. So that tracks. Maybe this is more of a, you do it when you get the property under contract. It looks like it's been through 740 of them. So there's 6 that it's claiming are matching. I wonder how much of that low match factor has to do with I asked it to find corporate owned properties. So live, you just watched me maybe botch $15 worth of searches, but it says that there's 6 that match. So let's take a look at the 6 that it did find and match and determine if I think these are worth hitting with mail or not. It's only 6 of them, so the answer is probably yes. But this first one here is off market, high equity. They're behind on their taxes. It's absentee owned and it's an out of state owner. That looks reasonable to hit. If I'm being blunt, they've got the condition as being fair. This is kind of more of like a blue collar area, so that wouldn't surprise me at all. That one looks worth mailing to me. This next one we have here, off market, high equity, absentee owned. Owner appears to be local, built similar year, similar lot size. Looks like they maybe have some delinquent taxes on the books as well. Looks like it would be worth hitting. This one's actually on the same street, which is interesting. We've done actually a decent bit of that lately where we buy one and then like a couple others right on the same street or like within spitting distance of each other. This one's off market, has high equity, is also absentee owned, built in a similar time frame. Looks like they also have that it's behind on some taxes. So yeah, I'd hit that one. It's literally like right across the street. This one looks like off market, high equity, absentee owned by somebody local. Interestingly, all of these are coming up as 100% equity, which is interesting. So they don't have any debt on them. This one's not behind on their taxes or anything similar, like fair condition. So that's interesting. And 2 more here. This one's actually on market, which is interesting. It's listed at 160. It's owned by a senior, absentee, high equity, and it's currently vacant. 3145 Station Street, 46218. Okay. This one looks like a flip. Honestly, mine's a flip. So maybe it tried to find stuff like a little bit more like that. This is one I wouldn't mail. So it's like 1 out of the 6 so far. And then we've got another one right on the same street. Looks like absentee owned, somebody local. Again, no debt on it. Similar year built, similar size, not behind on taxes or anything. Says the conditions also average and be worth hitting. So all in all, I think what this is going to allow you to do is build really specific, probably smaller lists that nobody else has. So my learning lesson to you that you just witnessed live is I've got a place that I'm under contract to buy in a week. I'm going to run it on that before I buy it and see if we get different results. Let me know in the comments below if this is something you think you're going to play with or not. I think that it's super unique and might be able to get some really low costs per acquisition by just being hyper targeted, which lower cost per acquisition is never something I'm upset about. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch today's video. I always like highlighting tools I'm using, especially when they're doing new cool stuff that I think we'll actually use. Don't get me wrong, there's tools we use that release like new features and I'm like, I don't see that really moving the needle, so I'm not going to talk about it. This, I think, is something that's worth playing with. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch today's video. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. Again, my name is Ryan Dossey. I'll talk to you guys next time.